right. Hello, this is Shia from Austin, part two. So that I can go into some of the other practices that help you reboot your nervous system. So, I'm learning about a new thing got suggested to me since I am a part of the Flow Yoga studio that has like Kundalini Yoga and all these restorative practices there. So it's perfect for me right now because they're all very yin classes, and they're it's fascinating to me how feminine they are, how yin they are, because they're very restorative in general. Like, they have just different versions of restorative practices that they're doing, which yoga in general, at least the way I do yoga, is very restorative. It feels very nurturing, it's very in the moment. And then there's the kind of yoga that's, faster and more of a workout, but where I'm talking about maybe more traditional yoga, um, that didn't get Americanized. And so, anyway, at this studio, they have three here in Austin, and I go to the Anderson location right now because that's closest to me at this time. And they have, different names for their classes, but I'm just finding them so nurturing and so restorative to the body, mind, nervous system. And so it's kind of encouraging to know that that's out there, and that it's kind of feels like a thing now, like where we're all having to, have these practices to de-stress, to balance ourselves, to, um, you know, combat anxiety, for instance. I'm sure in a lot of people who have that going on. And, definitely a self-care practice that, and one thing I love about yoga, and I always loved about yoga, is that it meets my needs on several levels. It's not just feels good for the body and I just feel so much better afterwards, even though it seems like sometimes we're not really doing all that much, physically. It's still like energetically, just I come away just feeling so much better. And so much so that I want more. And so often I do a double class to be able to continue, especially right now as I am restoring actively. And so, like yesterday, I got to be in a class by Carolina, the owner, who I think it's called like mobility and flexibility. And we literally, part of the class, we used the tennis ball as a self massage practice. And a lot of us were asking for neck shoulder release. And so we did that with the tennis ball in multiple ways. So it was almost like she was kind of like a different kind of practitioner. Like, she was a yoga teacher plus like a, I'm sure there's a term for it, but where you're kind of rehabilitating a part of your body. And she was giving us these very specific motions with the tennis ball in certain exact spots on the body to lean into, and it was really awesome. So yes, I'm all about that. And what else? There are some things at home that I have, like it's kind of like a double tennis ball, that's connected, that I can move along my spine. Like, I just lay on it, especially at the neck areas, like the atlas, and then like the lower back area, I notice, are my favorite spots. But I kind of tend to start at one end and move it up like an inch every time until I'm all the way down or up the spine. And it's so relaxing. Like, afterward, you just feel so relaxed. It's a great thing to do before bed, and it just kind of releases all the whole spine area and everything that's connected to the spine. Um, and there's this thing called Yoga Nidra that I just learned about from Kimberly, who's at Flow Yoga. Thank you, Kimberly, because I was talking to her and she recommended it, and I didn't really know about it until now, which is it's kind of like a guided meditation that's meant to reset your nervous system. So they have it on YouTube. I looked it up. There's plenty of choices. Anything that's a guided meditation or on YouTube, by the way, you know, could be from like manifesting your soulmate to, manifesting more money in your life, whatever it is you choose. Even those are very, nurturing and relaxing and spiritually beneficial, just like yoga is. Because even though it's a physical practice of yoga, I find that just being present in the moment and the certain motions or positions they have us in also is just very nurturing on a, like a spiritual, physical, soul level. So it just works. Anyway, it's also the precursor to Tantra, by the way. Yoga is. They're sisters, yoga and Tantra. And so Yoga Nidra apparently is like guided meditation where you're laying down and listening, and it's what I noticed about it in doing my first official one today is that it kind of guides you to, it's where you're being guided to be very present, and very present with yourself, and very present with each body part, to check in with it, see how it's feeling, to hold intention, send it love, So it's a very nurturing experience that resets your nervous system because it's so gentle and so present. The presence part was what really struck me about it. But it's apparently a yoga practice when you're needing to reset your nervous system from like fight or flight into a normal homeostasis, which finally happened for me, by the way. I noticed it finally shifted. I want to say yesterday. Went from flight to fight or flight into a normal state, and I finally, like, my body got the message, hey, you don't have to be rushing anymore. You don't have to be on point, constantly doing something anymore just to get something done in time for the deadline. You can, shift back and go at a normal pace and relax and, be at a sustainable pace and feel a sense of presence as opposed to having to speed up time to get something done. So that was very interesting, noticing that shift. I've noticed that shift, other times in my life too, but it's, very interesting. I'm so glad that happened because, I feel so much better now. And so any kind of guided meditation, one of the other things I use YouTube all day long. Honestly, it is a huge asset in my life. Oh my God, the day I found YouTube, it changed my life for the better, especially spiritually. Oh my goodness. I can't recommend it enough. And it's free. Oh my goodness. So, and of course you're hearing me for free right now, right? And this is, valuable information, and I hope it helps you a lot. So one of the other things on YouTube that I absolutely love, and all these things are really good to use to to turn it on right as you're going to sleep. And I listen to it sometimes all night long, or when I wake up and I won't feel like turning it on, so that I can enjoy it again. And then early in the morning, I'm turning it on because I just love it. It just feeds my soul so much. And what I'm talking about is not just guided meditations, but also there is, of course, I just mentioned Yoga Nidra as well. Then there's affirmations. And I happen to love Jessica Heslop. I think it's Hesslop, if I may remember correctly. I've just noticed hers are one of the highest quality ones, and she has tons of them that I like, with her voice and any different theme you want to hear affirmations about. And that's a really good way to reset your mind toward positivity, because in your mind is where it all starts. And if your thoughts aren't clean and high vibe and positive, you can just forget it, because that's where it all starts when, as far as creating your reality. So listening to those all night long, so to go into your subconscious, on a low volume so that it doesn't disturb your sleep. And I listen to them like when I just need background music sometimes, because I need to focus. So I can't really listen maybe to, say, a reading, but I can listen, just have those affirmations in the background and kind of tune into them, and then I can tune out and know they're going into my subconscious. And they're just so positive that it's great. So that's another form of listening, to build yourself up in your vibration. Then there's the different hertz. So you'll notice on YouTube they have different like singing bowls, and they'll have you know enhance your heart opening such and such hertz, music and tones. So there's different tones apparently, and different vibrations and musical notes that enhance each of our chakras and different aspects of our energetic system that need balancing or upliftment. And so those things can be very helpful as well, especially during sleep time. What else? And then, of course, I listen to, guided, like readings around, say, the new moon or the equinox, or, what's going on at the full moon as far as the energies that we can dance with better. Or I listen to a lot of my Pisces readings, and there's certain, I have found, and I just feel like I just got upgraded because oh, that's a really good sign, actually. I noticed that certain YouTube providers, readers, and so coaches and stuff come across my path at different times, and they'll just all of a sudden come up on my feed, and it's almost like I'm ready for that more advanced teachings. And a good example of that is recently I just found Magnify Yourself, I believe, is her channel. She talks a lot about the twin flame experience, that a lot of us have gone through or are going through, and just also just, more advanced and deep around her insights in sharing with you what's going on with you energetically. I just resonate a lot with her work, as well as the White Feather Tarot. She's very deep, very professional. It's impressive. They're giving a lot for free, and so that's when I go and sign up for their extended readings or whatever it is that they got going, to support them, on Patreon. And please do, if you find my information useful and you want to support me too, because I could use it right now. I just went through a big move, and it was expensive, and it makes this sustainable for us to keep sharing. People like me that are sharing on YouTube, it makes it sustainable when you give back so that we can keep going. At any rate, what else do I like? I have certain readers I like that talk, cater to Pisces, for instance. And so there's this whole wealth of messages on YouTube that I plug into, and some of them are like the Galactic Federation, for instance, will share about what's happening on the planet, spiritually, where we're at in our ascension process, and in our evolving as a planet, as a people, living right now on the planet in this timeline, point in history. And so when you know this stuff, it kind of helps you dance with life easier, because you're aware of what's going on. I personally love it, as a Pisces, but that's why I'm giving you all these choices, because you'll resonate with certain things more than others. And music, music is, if it's positive music, and uplifting music, it can raise your vibration faster than most things, actually, which is amazing. Because who doesn't like to listen to good music, right? So I notice a lot of times in the morning when I need to start getting up and going, it'll motivate me, and just having that in the background to get ready to and get stuff done is kind of a great way to also infuse yourself with, high vibes. So there's some examples of all the different ways you can take care of yourself, uplift yourself, nurture yourself, because there's tons of different ways you can do that. And I'm just giving you some examples that you may not have thought of before. All right, team, tribe, my beautiful colleagues and friends. Thank you for listening today, and put at least one of those into practice. Go check out YouTube and some of that stuff. And I will see you in the next reading.